Making your way in the world today takes everything you've got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to get away? Sometimes you wanna go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You wanna be where you can see our troubles are all the same. You wanna be where everybody knows your name. You wanna go where people know people are all the same. You wanna go where everybody knows your name.
FightSoccer.com presents Herring vs. Stevenson Big Fight Preview with expert trainer James Gogue.
Guys, good evening to everybody. Happy Sunday to all of you. Hope you had a full day or a full weekend of boxing, as well as a full day of the NFL. Tell you what, the NFL's putting forth great product. We had something that matched that last Saturday. Not so much this weekend, Coach. Did you catch any of this weekend's action on DAZN, Sky Sports, ESPN? Did you catch any of it?
ESPN. I watched the two fights, the co-main and the main, and I saw that Bradis got knocked out over there. I think he's in Germany. I don't know. Is he from Germany?
No, he's from Latvia, sir. Latvia.
Oh, yeah, I see him. He got knocked out. And that's it. I don't watch, I don't watch a lot of boxing nowadays because to me, it's a lot of bullshit fights that ain't worth watching. So
No, actually, Marius Bradis knocked out Arthur Mann in the third round.
Oh, he knocked out Arthur Mann, yeah.
To retain his IBF cruiserweight title.
Okay, yeah, I got them guys mixed up and everything, yeah.
Well, they both look kind of similar, so it's understandable, brother.
Yeah, I never seen him. I knew who Bradis was. I seen him fight, but I forgot. He hit him with that. Was it the Canelo combination? That uppercut, left hook to the body.
Yeah,
that guy folded like a bitch. That Arthur Mann, yeah, laid there like a dog. Yeah.
Well, guys, we're going to go through all of the action that took place this past weekend in the back half of the show, unless, Coach, you want to start out talking about it and get it out of the way before you do your Herring versus Stevenson breakdown.
Yeah, go ahead. What we talked about, yeah.
You want to talk about all the action or lack of in certain instances?
Go ahead, Joe. Which one? Whatever you want to talk about.
All right, guys. Obviously, and if you tuned into last weekend's show, first of all, I want to give a shout out to my brother, AJ. Thank you so much for joining the program, sir. God bless you. Also want to give a shout out to my brother, Antonio Luna, for always tuning in. Thank you so much, guys. I tell you what, Coach, there was a small card on Sky Sports, and Huey Fury was fighting Christian Hammer in the main event, and he stopped Christian Hammer in the fifth round. He couldn't go on. He retired due to a bicep injury. Okay, and to be honest with you, that main event was kind of putting me to sleep before he retired on his stool in his corner. Also, yeah. Savannah Marshall, congratulations to her. She made quick work of Lolita Musea, stopping her in the second round. Also, Chris Eubank Jr. He got he put his man, Wanik Audijan. I hope I'm not murdering that last name. Stopping him with a body shot. Right, so those are your big winners from the UK on the Sky Sports card. And also, we're not going to talk much about this. Congratulations to Marius Bradis for stopping Arthur Mann in Latvia. Stopped him in the third round with a body shot as well. But the big one we want to talk about, Coach, the big two, obviously, Emmanuel Navarrete.
Yeah.
Struggling a bit, but gets a 12-round unanimous decision retains his WBO featherweight championship against the game Joet Gonzalez. This was an amazing fight. And Gogue, you asked me to look up purses, right?
Yeah.
Well, turns out that Emmanuel Navarrete actually made $550,000 for this.
Okay.
Right? Which is a fraction. And Joet Gonzalez only made $150,000 for this. A fraction of what Mikey Garcia earned for stinking out the joint in a glorified sparring session, which he lost a split decision to, or a majority decision to Spain's, what is his name? Don Flamenco. Sandor Martin is his name. Yeah. So, guys, but Coach, your thoughts on Emmanuel Navarrete? Well, he's struggling at times, getting hurt a couple times, but ultimately getting a decision in a Fight of the Year candidate against Joet Gonzalez.
Navarrete is, like I said last week, he must-see TV, an action fighter, old school fighter, okay? Old school fighter from Mexico, well-conditioned, tough as nails, and he has a high volume punch attack when he fights. Whoever he's going against, he don't care who he's fighting. He's gonna fight his fight, Joe. He don't give a shit about what you do. He don't even he's one of those fighters. I had a deep feeling in me that he don't watch tapes of his fighters. And I seen an interview of him on one of these Instagram videos or whatever, these videos. And he says he don't like watching tape of the guys he fights. He just likes to go in there with a game plan that he wants to do. And that's what old school fighters do, Joe. They don't watch videos and endless videos or tapes of their opponent. They just go in there with the game plan they're going to apply and make adjustments, okay? And I had a guy like that before, Tony the Tiger Lopez, 3-time champion from Sacramento. He was the same way. He didn't give a shit. He never watched one fight. I trained him a long time. He never watched one fight with me. When we every time we got an opponent, he never watched one fight with me. I remember the first time I said, Tony, hey man, I can't remember who we were fighting. I think it was Greg Hagen or one of the Chavez, Julio. I don't know. I can't remember. And I said, hey, Tony, hey, let's watch the fight together. I want to show you some stuff. He goes, look, Gogue, you're my coach. You told me what to do. I'm going to do it. I don't like, that ain't my job. I'm just going to do what I'm going to do. I'm going to focus on my game plan. And, then when we get in the ring, we'll figure everything out. But you tell me, you just tell me what I got to do and I'll do it. And that's how Navarrete is. Okay. He just, man, he ain't got no famous coach in his corner. I think it's his cousin or brother. I don't know. Someone familiar with him. I think it's his cousin. Wasn't a world-class fighter, an opponent, but he gets him in good condition. Navarrete's comfortable with him, and Navarrete knows what to do when he gets in that ring. Okay, he knows how to make those adjustments. He knows how to adapt, and he's a non-stop combination puncher. But Gonzalez, you got to give him credit, man. Showed a big set of balls, heart, will, and put out maximum effort. Okay, everything Navarrete brought to the table, he fired back, but Navarrete fired back more and won them close rounds. It was no easy fight. Navarrete had to earn his money. Okay, there was no free lunch. He had to earn his money, and it was a grueling fight, an old school fight. I used to see fights like that back in the olden days all the time. Old Mexican wars, especially in the Olympic auditorium when Hall of Fame Don Chargan used to put on his weekly shows. Evenly matched fights, fighters that were hungry, determined, that wanted to win. And both these guys, it reminded me of those fights I used to see back in the days, because you rarely see those types of fights nowadays, Joe. Yep. No. These guys, especially in the States, the fighters in the States, they're too much safety first, wanting to apply the sweet science. They don't believe in, mixing it up like these two guys. And Joet, he had a real messed up, swollen eye. I think it was his left eye. Yeah, his left eye.
Are you talking about Joette Gonzalez? No, is his right eye that was
right eye,
damaged from that jab. Yep.
Yeah, and you think he quit? You think he thought about quitting? Hell no. He bit down like them old school fighters did.
Yep.
Not like Daniel Dubois and starts, complaining. I got a broken orbital bone and I can't see. That's the first thing they do, Joe. Yep. Once their eye starts swelling up, a lot of these guys just quit. Man, I got a broken orbital bone. That's their way out. But not Gonzalez. Boy, he's shown me a lot of heart, a lot of balls. Even though he lost, he didn't lose. His marketability went up, and he'll get another payday and everything.
Boy, it sure did, and I stand corrected. Emmanuel Navarrete did make $550,000 for competing in that main event in that brilliant fight of the year candidate effort. But Joette Gonzalez made $185,000. Right?
Yeah, there was probably more money in the pot, but they got to pay Golden Boy. I don't know. Like I said,
well, there may have been, but it's a damn shame because it was a far cry from what Mikey Garcia made for stinking out the joint on Saturday night. He made $1.5 million. Sandor Martin made $150,000. Mark Castro, who brought more fans than Mikey, only made $14,000. Right?
Was it a 6-rounder he fought?
I think it was a 6-rounder, sir. Let me see. Hold on. Let me check, sir.
Man, that's good money. Only $14,000 for 6 rounds, and he fought a stiff.
Yeah, but not when you sell the majority of the tickets.
Well, Rick Maragon had a lot to do with that, though. Okay, Rick Maragon.
You're right about that. His manager. Yep.
He's the one that put a lot of the asses in the seats and did a tremendous job of promoting the fight because tickets weren't going too good until he got involved. Okay, so
absolutely.
So you need, Eddie Hearns. He's not an American promoter. He's not going to get his ass over here and do the groundwork. The street.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Credit to Rick Maragon. He in 18 days he had to promote this fight. Yeah, they sold 8,000 tickets.
Yeah, like I said, Eddie is not an American promoter, man. He just shopped. He probably paid Maragon a fee to promote the show and everything. But Castro was a local guy there. It's good to have when you're a big amateur star like Mark Castro, and you're fighting in your hometown. That's the best place that's the best place to fight him. That's the best place to grow his fan base. If they're smart, they would go back there. Okay.
Yep.
And start highlighting them over there, especially main eventing him. Okay, that's the best way to do it. Eddie's smart; he knows how to do that. But Eddie, he's so spread thin; he ain't got time to do all the groundwork a real promoter does, and sell the tickets and all that. That's why they brought the hustler Rick Maragon in.
Absolutely, and it paid off for them. 8,000 strong in Fresno showed up to see two big upsets.
Good crowd.
Two big upsets. Mikey Garcia was upset, and also Elwin Soto from Mexico loses his WBO junior flyweight title to Puerto Rican nemesis in a split decision, Jonathan La Bomba Gonzalez. Very entertaining fight, I tell you what. But yeah, he lost his belt to the Puerto Rican fighter. Also on that card, Brock Jarvis made his American debut and almost paid for it in the second round by perennial tough man Alejandro Frias. Bam Rodriguez looked stellar, improving his record to 14-0 by getting out of in the fourth round, making short work of Jose Burgos. Diego Pacheco also won a lackluster 8-round. Eventually got the KO, but it was not a great fight against formerly undefeated Lucas Abreu. And then obviously Mark Castro in his homecoming, got the big first round knockout against the overmatched Angel Luna. But I tell you what, Coach, did you see the Mikey Garcia fight, sir?
Nah, I heard about it. I didn't want to watch it. I didn't think it'd be a good matchup.
No, and you know what?
I heard he didn't look good. He lackluster,
Oh,
boring.
look, Coach, and we called this a long time ago when we first started covering Mikey Garcia 10 years ago, right? And you called it back then. Unless he's facing a guy who's a relentless pressure fighter, his fights, well, they're not all that scintillating. They're not all that action filled.
Yeah.
So in this case against Sandor Martin, he was facing a counterpuncher, a guy who used a lot of feints. He looked pudgy, slow. His timing was off, and he was facing another counterpuncher who used a lot of disjunct upper body and head movement. He was disrupting his timing and rhythm. Mikey Garcia never knew when to let his hands go and get off, and he's obviously not an intelligent pressure fighter. So he was doomed from the get-go. This is a terrible style matchup for him, and we knew it wasn't going to be very action-filled, but little did we know he was going to look this bad and get upset. And once again, all credit to Sandor Martin for fighting his fight. Never straying from the strategy, never straying from the blueprint. But yeah, it was a terrible performance by Mikey. Want to give a shout out to our brother Lemon Pepper Chitlins. Thank you for joining us, sir. Also, Platinum Fights. Brother, you're just in time. We have yet to go over Herring versus Stevenson. We're going to save that for the back half of the show. Thank you for joining us, sir. But, Coach, the saddest part about this is Mikey Garcia, formerly a top 10 pound-for-pound guy, was upset yesterday, and no one seems, and pardon my French, no one seems to give a shit. Why is that, Coach?
Number one, the fight was, what do you call it? I didn't think it'd be a good matchup. So nobody, if I don't think it's going to be a good matchup, I don't care. And I'm pretty sure everybody had the same attitude as me. It's going to be a terrible fight. I don't care to watch it. So when he lost, it's like, no big deal. I was surprised that he lost. I didn't think he would lose a guy like that. But hey, that's boxing. When you don't come prepared, and when you can have long layoffs, and you're not prepared coming into the fight, you take a guy easy, man. Let me tell you, you can get upset. Oh yeah, I see it all the time. But I didn't care about the fight. I didn't really want to talk about it last week. If you remember, I passed on it, and a lot of people didn't give a shit about it. And when he lost, it was like, who cares?
Yeah, well, this is what happens, guys. When you're a semi-retired fighter and a businessman first, look, fans want to be inspired. And I'm sorry, but holding out for way too much money doesn't inspire the real bosses of boxing, the fans of the sport, right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but you know what, Mikey, if your heart's not into it, then stay far away from this sport. Because after a stunning effort from both Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder, we don't need this. Not in the main event, not anywhere. We don't need this. Fortunately for us, Emmanuel Navarrete and Joet Gonzalez saved the entire weekend.
Yeah.
Right?
It was a hell of a fight.
Hell of a fight. Fight of the year candidate. Unfortunately, it's going to be trailing, right? Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder 3, as well as Chocolatito Gonzalez and El Gallo Estrada.
Oh, yeah.
And in my opinion, boy, it's going to be trailing also Terrence Crawford versus Sean Porter coming up. Platinum Fights, boy, he makes an excellent question, Coach. Why would DAZN pay for that fight? Pay over $1 million for that matchup alone. Why would they do it? Because Eddie Hearn is a UK-based promoter and doesn't understand the American market. I mean, guys, look at the fighters he signed. Boo Boo Andrade and Devin Haney, two guys who couldn't sell out my living room on a Saturday night. Yes, they're really talented, two of the more talented fighters in boxing, but they don't have a fan base and they don't move the needle. Yet he's paying them millions of dollars. Which leads me, Coach, to my next topic. DAZN is going to be charging on top of their monthly subscription rates for specific matchups. They're going to be charging viewers pay-per-view prices, right? And Hearn had this to say on Saturday night. He said, quote, "It's very important to get the difference of bringing pay-per-view to a platform and bringing it for specific fights. Absolutely, 100%. The aim of DAZN is to bring you traditional pay-per-view nights we've seen in the last 5 years as part of the monthly subscription. They need to have a pay-per-view functionality for unique circumstances. That's the key word. When you look at it now, Alexander Usyk versus Anthony Joshua, that's not going to go as part of your DAZN subscription, being quite frank with you. So you need pay-per-view functionality to be able to do that. They have pay-per-view functionality within their platform. White versus Valim, Chisora versus Parker. These fights you used to see on Sky pay-per-view are 100% not part of that vision." End quote. Coach Gogue, you can clearly see that this is an act of desperation, right? They don't have enough subscribers. They don't.
Yeah.
Not for boxing anyway. Maybe for their other sports they do, but not that support boxing. And in America, well, Canelo, they spent a ton of money on his last 3 fights, and they only increased their subscriber base in America by 400,000. That's not enough.
That's not enough. No.
And so that's why they're moving to pay-per-view. But I'm sorry, guys. Is anyone going to continue to purchase their subscriptions for an entire year if they're going to be charging you pay-per-view for these fights? For the big fights, for the big matchups, what's the incentive of getting the DAZN subscription for an entire year then?
And they got crappy fights. Some of them are good, you know what I mean? But most of them are, you know.
Is it worth $19.99 per month?
Well, I don't know. I'm in Mexico, man. I get all that shit for free over here, so. You know
Lucky you, brother. Because I'm sorry. And once again, unless he has, and this is one thing, if they're going to be charging that much money, then give Golden Boy Promotions their damn dates back. Okay? Because honestly, they're the only ones that I'm really interested, with the exception of a handful of fights from the UK. That's it. Most of the UK cards are inconsequential. And guys, what made Wilder versus Fury so great is because it had real consequence to it. The fans actually cared about what happened, right? It was a high stakes matchup. Okay, you have to have some kind of consequence for the fans to give a shit. And that's the reality. Coach, am I off base here?
Well, if the fights ain't good, the fans ain't going to tune in. And you can't fool them, okay?
Yep.
Good fight fans, you can't fool them. They know what a good matchup is. They're not dumb and stupid, okay? So you got to, that's a simple rule. You got to, what do you call it? Supply them with the entertainment they want. They want action, they want violence, and they want blood. Marvin Hagler said that in the 80s. You know what I mean?
Yep.
When fans, he goes, when fans go watch a fight, when they spend their hard-earned money on a ticket, there's 2 things they want to see: blood and knockouts. That always stuck in my mind when I was coming up as a young trainer in the business in the 80s. They want to see blood and knockouts. And that always, like I said, when I train my fighters, you can't train them to be born, okay, applying the sweet science and be safety first. You got to train them to be you have to train them to be aggressive, physical, but not overly aggressive and physical where you forget your defense. You get punched a lot in the face, okay? But that's what you want to. They want to see that, okay? And that's what boxing is, Joe. It's a hurt business, man.
Yep.
Fans want their fix. They want to see a knockout. They want to see knockdowns. They want to see blood. And they got that in the Tyson Fury Deontay Wilder fight.
That's right. That's right. That says it all.
Yeah.
Well, very well said. Platinum Fights also says, why don't these companies decide to buy fights instead of buying fighters? I miss Boxing After Dark. Why not go back to that
Yeah.
model that Lou DiBella was doing on
Yeah.
HBO? It was successful. Yes, it was. Lou DiBella helped make HBO the biggest stage of boxing. And I think Eddie Hearn is trying to get back to that with his purchase of Teofimo Lopez versus George Kambosos, as well as now, well, out of necessity, putting together Devin Haney versus Jojo Diaz after Ryan Garcia broke his hand. Now he and both Deontay Wilder are having to have surgery, hand surgery, on Monday, tomorrow morning. Well, sucks to be them. But, the fight game goes on. And I think, now, once again, I think they're going to start moving in that direction. Because, one, it doesn't help to overpay your fighters, inflated purses. Two, yeah, it doesn't help to lock down these guys when you're paying them inflated purses to a long-term contract. It makes it virtually impossible to put them into big-time matchups. They want too much damn money.
Yeah,
Minnie
you're
Mill
right.
joins us. He says, welcome to the League of Shadows. Unfortunately, and this is what really pisses me off. And guys, I'm in a salty mood if you haven't already noticed. Please share, hit that subscriber button if you haven't already, because we're sick and tired of so much ignorance being floated around YouTube when there's a great plethora of knowledge every single Sunday, and his name is Coach James Gogue. He's got real boxing knowledge, 5 decades worth of it, right?
Yeah, around there. Lost track over the years and everything.
So, guys, this week coming up, we have the pleasure of meeting with James Gogue tonight. Then we also have Coach Ronnie every single Thursday. And then we're getting Bruce Trampler. I just confirmed Hall of Fame matchmaker extraordinaire this Thursday night. So, guys,
that's good.
So if you guys want real boxing knowledge, please share our channel. And we encourage everyone to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know. And once again, guys, these are gentlemen who have real boxing knowledge. We're not just throwing shit against the wall and hope that it sticks. We consult men who are in the business and really know, right? That's the difference. So here's and this is why I'm bringing this up. There's so much ignorance being circulated around YouTube, and this is another one. Bonehead Joe Rogan, right? Mm-hmm. He said this about the current long count conspiracy during Fury versus Wilder 3 in the second Fury knockdown in the 4th round of their 3rd fight. He said this, and the reason why I'm talking about this, he has so much influence over people who don't know any better. And Joe Rogan, I'm sorry to say, is one of these guys. He said this, quote, "This is what happened. The referee is supposed to go 1-2 when the guy goes down, but if for any reason he has to interrupt the count, you're supposed to pick up the count where the ringside counter has it. So there's a guy who's counting ringside, the timekeeper, and he'll keep the count going. So if you're at 1-2 and then you're like, go to a neutral corner, that guy's supposed to be like 3, 4, 5, but he didn't. He went back to where he left off, but the guy had already been down for a couple seconds. Without a doubt, it was a long count. I think it's an error or corruption. Most likely an error. Most likely the guy's panicking," end quote. Gogue, your thoughts on that kind of ignorance that these fans are getting?
Joe Rogan, give me update. Who's he? I remember his name is familiar, but who's Joe Rogan?
He has the most popular podcast right now on the net, right? He just signed a multi-million-dollar deal with Spotify. He's a popular comedian and a chronic weed smoker. My suggestion to Joe Rogan is stick to what you know, brother. Telling jokes and smoking weed, because you don't know shit about boxing. Okay, for anyone who wants to know, here are the official rules, right? It doesn't say anything in the ABC Unified Boxing Rules specifically. So then you have to go with the sanctioning organization's rules for the ringside official, which was the WBC on this night. This is what they said, right? On page 44 of their ring official guidelines. Quote, and I'm quoting the WBC on this. He must avoid giving his back to the standing boxer, and if he leaves a neutral corner, the referee must interrupt the count, send the boxer back to the neutral corner, and resume the count exactly at the second he interrupted it. Okay? Now I'm going to repeat that. Send the fighter back to the neutral corner and resume the count exactly at the second he interrupted it.
That's the rules.
So Russell Mora did the right thing, and Joe Rogan needs to shut the F up because he has no idea what the hell he's talking about.
That's the right rules. From what I've known, when you knock the guy down, you go to the neutral corner. But if you leave that neutral corner and you come like halfway to your opponent, I mean, you come halfway to meet your opponent where you knocked him down, the ref, at his discretion, he can stop the fight and tell you to get your ass back in the neutral corner. So you don't blame Russell Moore, you blame Deontay Wilder for for interrupting the count and everything.
Yep.
Deontay Wilder, yeah, he should know the rules. But the thing is, a lot of these refs don't. It all comes down to this, Joe. Are they gonna enforce the rules? There's rules out there, but do they enforce them? Russell Moore enforced them that night. Okay.
Yep. I mean, Coach, and this is nothing new. Do you remember what Rocky Marciano used to do when he knocked his opponent down? He used to sprint to the neutral corner so the count would start quicker. Right?
Yeah.
This is nothing new to boxing, guys. But apparently it's new to a lot of fans and a bunch of idiots who like conspiracy theories and guys like Joe Rogan who are, with the UFC, right? Lyndon Pepper Chitlins knows. He's an MMA announcer as well. We'll stick to that, brother, because you don't know shit about boxing. Platinum Fight says the boxer responds to a referee's count, doesn't respond to a timekeeper. It's irrelevant. Am I wrong? No, you're absolutely right. Tyson Fury was smart. He was obviously hurt, and so he stopped, looked up directly at the ref, and saw how much he was counting, decided to take as much time as the referee was giving him. Okay? Tyson Fury knows. Mini Mill says, Navarrete. Yep, he stole the weekend. He was the only reason why this was an eventful weekend in boxing. And I'll say it again, Emmanuel Navarrete. Boy, he is a credit to the sport of boxing, Coach. Your final thoughts on that before we start breaking down Shakur Stevenson versus Jamel Herring.
Never ready. He wants to go into big fights. He fights at 126. Godly, there is really no. He's gonna have to move up to 130. If Shakur wins the title, that's a big fight for him. Okay, at 130.
Yep.
At 126, there ain't no. A lot of tough guys like Gonzalez, but no big names. Okay.
Yep.
That's what I'm trying to say. It's just
And look, it's not like, and I understand that Top Rank, they just had an amazing fight card with PBC, and they're going to also do it again with Terrence Crawford versus Sean Porter. But look, guys, don't count on, if you're hoping to see Gary Russell Jr. versus Emmanuel Navarrete, you have a better chance of seeing my man James Gogue have a date with Jennifer Lopez.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Better chances. It ain't gonna happen, Joe. I mean,
No.
Al Heyman has this. Russell don't want to fight. He hasn't fought for over a year.
Yep. And guys, if you're wondering why I sound like a rock DJ this evening, it's because my allergies are killing me. So that's why I sound like a metal DJ tonight. So thanks for tuning in, though, guys. Oh, you want to talk about this? Lopez Haney interview was hilarious. Okay, it was only fitting that we saw two businessmen, two clowns that beat their chest about how much money they make and how many followers they have on social media, than actually competing in the ring. Gogue, your thoughts on these two clowns hamming it up with no actual intent of fighting each other?
That's all these fighters do nowadays. They talk, but they don't want to fight each other. That's just an example of what you saw last night. That's the behavior of fighters nowadays. I'm sick of it. I don't even like get. I don't pay no attention to them guys, man. I have, it gets to the point, Joe, where you get sick of it. You get tired of the bullshit. And they don't want to fight. Well, guess what? I don't care about you either. And guess what? The mainstream, they're trying to grow their fan base. Well, it ain't gonna happen. They don't care. They don't give a shit about Haney or Teofimo Lopez coming off a big win, and he hasn't fought for over a year. All that momentum is flushed down the toilet.
Yeah, let me ask you something, Coach.
Bad decisions he made.
Yep, let me ask you something, Coach. Did any of this even become mainstream before Floyd and Al Heyman made it popular?
They never. Fighters used to talk, but they used to back it up. They used to walk the walk. Now, shit, these motherfuckers, man, I'm just sick of them. That's why I don't watch a lot of boxing, Joe. Only matchups I know that are gonna be good, like that Navarrete. I knew it was going to be good. That's why I tuned in. And that Santillan, I never seen that guy fight. I wanted to see him, just give him his chance, give him an opportunity to let me watch him. And I'll watch him again. I like he's a good action-packed fighter.
Yep.
But these guys, all they do is talk, and talk. Ryan Garcia, pulls out of the fight with Joseph, which I didn't think the fight was going to go through anyway. Just look at his track record. He's not dependable, Joe. If you can't depend on the guy, what the fuck? Why you keep using that clown?
Indeed. Well, it's a damn shame that the beginning of the year we were all talking about unification at 135 and putting together some of the best matchups in boxing in 2021, and guess what? None of them have happened.
Here's what you do. You do like the W.A.W. You force these guys to fight, or you're not. You know what I mean? You force these guys to fight like they did Crawford and Porter. Okay, that fight would have never been made if Paco Varcel, the president of the W.A.W, didn't mandate that fight be made. Okay.
Excellent point, sir. Point, sir. Platinum Fights brings up. He says at least Lopez fought Lomachenko. None of these other 135 pounders have fought anyone. You're absolutely right. And here we get a clown like Devin Haney beating his chest, even stating on the air, hey, at least I have more followers than you. Oh, I make more money than you. Chingao, man. Oh, my gosh. Tell you what, it's a completely different mindset, a completely different culture. And let me tell you, boxing would be much better off if these guys either just fought or just rode off into the sunset alongside Mikey Garcia.
Yeah, bye. I don't care to watch him. I don't care to watch Mikey Garcia. Only if you fight somebody I think is going to be a good fight. I don't care to watch any of these guys. All they do is talk, man.
Okay. Brother AJ says, F your followers.
Yeah.
Indeed. Minnie Mill asks you, Coach, did Anthony Joshua join the Canelo team or was he just visiting the gym?
I don't know. Probably just visiting the gym. You know what I mean? Eddie Hearns went down there to go visit him. So he probably, tagged along with Eddie just to check it out and everything. Watch Canelo train, see how he trains and all that. You know what I mean?
Yep, that's it. Because honestly, Coach, does Eddie Reynoso, would he be able to help a guy like Anthony Joshua?
Nope.
He's not that type of trainer, guys. Okay, he needs someone like James Gogue.
Only buddy that can help Anthony Joshua is himself, change his attitude, his mindset.
Yep, he needs to be a risk taker. He needs to work on getting off first, taking the lead, imposing his will. Coach, in my opinion, staying on this topic, is Anthony Joshua, is he damaged goods after that first Andy Ruiz knockout?
Everybody seems to say that. Everybody seems to say that. That he's tentative. He doesn't. He's tentative. Not the Andy Ruiz fight. The Klitschko fight. People were telling me he became a lot tentative after fighting Vlad. When he got knocked down and he took a lot of punches in that fight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he started becoming like not as aggressive with a physical mindset he used to have. When he fought Joshua, boy, you can see, man, he wanted to take some heads off, boy.
Yep.
He wanted some heads to. He wanted a head to roll, and it wasn't going to be his. But then the Josh, what's that? What do you call it? The Andy Ruiz fight. God, I don't know what happened that night. Then the what do you call it? The Usyk fight. Yeah.
Yep. Coach, correct me if I'm wrong. Coach, correct me if I'm wrong, but ever since that knockout loss, he's as nervous as a toothache in the ring.
Joe, like I said, I don't pay attention to that much. I just watch him fight. So I'm just going from the Vladimir Klitschko fight to the fights after fighting Vladimir. Okay.
Well, I tell you what, the next big fight on the boxing calendar, and no, it's not the very first Bridgerweight world title fight coming up this Friday, even though that's going to be on DAZN. It's going to be Shakur Stevenson this Saturday night, challenging Jamil Herring for his 130-pound WBO championship. Coach, let's take a look at the tell of the tape for Shakur Stevenson, the title challenger. He's going to come to the ring at age 24. He fights out of the southpaw stance. He stands 5'7" tall in the center of the ring, fights behind a 68-inch reach, originally from Alexandria, Virginia, originally from Newark, New Jersey, now fights out of Alexandria, Virginia. He comes into the ring with a perfect record, 16 wins, 0 losses, 8 big wins coming by way of knockout. Coach Gogue, what's good about Shakur Stevenson?
Interesting matchup this week. He's going for his second belt, different weight division. And he has 14, 15 fights? Yeah, how many fights that guy Shakur have? 14, 15?
16.
Oh, 16. Yeah, he's, what do you call it? Ambitious. Okay? He don't want to take the slow track. He thinks he's good enough, to keep going up the ladder quick, collecting the belts, fighting all the top guys. Shakur, I've known him since the amateur days. Outstanding amateur, was on the Olympic team, national champion, and all that good stuff. But one thing that always stood out to me about Shakur, even back in the amateur days, he had that innate ability to control range and distance, a rare talent that only fighters like Andre Ward, Floyd Mayweather, Terrence Crawford, they possess that rare talent. Okay, to understand distance and range.
Yep.
Understanding distance and range, I define as knowing the distance that you can hit your opponent, okay? But also knowing the distance he can hit you, which is more important. Okay, Shakur Stevenson, he understands the range his opponent can hit him. So every time his opponent tries to, once he knows he's in his opponent's punching range, okay, he'll take a half step back just to get out of range, to make you miss a little. Okay, that's his foundation of his defense, is his footwork, taking a half step back, 2 step backs, just to get out of range. And he works his jab. His jab is probably his number one weapon. That helps him control range and distance. But what I like about Shakur, Joe, is straight left hand. He has the ability to control range and distance, not only with his jab and his footwork, but his straight left hand. He just shoots it by itself. Pot shots you with it from long range. Straight left hands to the head, straight left hands to the body. He mixes it up and down. And he also knows when you're expecting that left hand to the body or that straight left hand to the head, he knows that you're going to be expecting. And so he'll loop with that. He'll throw that sweeping left hook around the top. Okay, instead of throwing that straight left hand straight to the body of your head, he'll sweep that little sweeping left hand around over the top, just to keep you honest, give you a different look. So he has 3 punches out there, to keep you guessing. And when Shakir gets that jab going, he's a beautiful counter puncher, Joe, too. Okay, he'll step back and counter. He'll slip and counter, block and counter. Okay, then once he counters effectively, he'll get back at, he'll take a little half step back, pop you with that jab just to keep controlling that range and distance. Or like he did in that, I think, Pitbull Diaz fight. Is that his name, Joe? Pitbull Diaz? I can't remember that guy. The guy that just fought, I can't remember these fuckers.
Christopher Diaz?
Yeah, Christopher Diaz, Pitbull. Puerto Rican guy?
Yeah, no, I think you're talking about Carlos. Yeah, it's Christopher Pitbull Diaz. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. He was controlling him from distance with that straight left hand, to the body, to the head, and that little sweeping left hand over the top, the little sweeping left hook. Okay. Once he started busting you up with combinations, that jab, counters, he'll take that step back and boom, throw that straight left hand to the body, boom, throw that straight left hand to the head, or that little sweeping left hook over the head. He does it beautifully, Joe, and it keeps you guessing, and it keeps you tentative from coming forward because you don't want to get caught with those punches. Yeah, Shakir, that's what he has that. Like I said, coming out of the amateurs, I said that to a lot of boxing people. He has that innate ability, a rare innate talent. A lot of guys can't do that. What he does, man. His boxing IQ is very, very high. A lot of people can't do that. Okay, they can't think like that to keep that distance, to control that distance effectively with that jab. Starting with the footwork, everything starts from the ground up. This footwork, that jab, the feints, okay, the counters, and the straight left hands. Oh yeah, if you want to watch a fighter that applies a sweet science beautifully, Shakir Stevenson is one of the guys. But that last fight against that African guy, he fought terrible style for the way Shakir fights, okay?
Yep.
Shakir, in order for him to be effective against that tall, rangy African guy, he would have to press the action.
Yep.
Press the action. Step to his opponent. That's not Shakir Stevenson. That attack mentality, the lion's mentality that's hungry and on the prowl for its prey. That's not Shakir Stevenson. And that's to be a more effective fighter, to reach his potential as a fighter, he needs to add that dimension to his game. Maybe he's been practicing that when he's getting ready for a guy like Herring. We'll see.
Yep. Well, I tell you what, Coach, and we're going to talk about the odds in a bit, but right now, the massive, and I'm a little surprised that in a matchup of this nature, the wides are, they're drifting. They're very wide. Right now, Coach, Shakur Stevenson, even though he's a title challenger, is a 7-1 betting favorite on most race and sports books, with Jamil Herring being a 4.5-1 betting underdog. Okay. So before we get your take on the odds, let's take a look at the tail of the tape for the reigning WBO champion, Semper Fi, Jamil William Herring. He's going to come into the ring at age 35. He fights out of the southpaw stance as well. He stands 5'10" tall in the center of the ring, fights behind a lengthy 72-inch reach. Originally from Coram, New York, he resides now in Cincinnati, Ohio. He comes into the ring with a very good record, 23 wins, 2 losses, 11 big wins coming by way of knockout. What's there to like, Coach, about the champion, Jamil Semper Fi Herring?
When he first started his pro career, when he was I can't remember that coach from Cincinnati. What's his name? Mike
Stafford.
He wasn't really performing to his potential, and I used to be a big critic of him. he wasn't really good at fighting in the trenches. Remember when he fought that tough Russian guy, Joe?
Yep.
The guy Abel Sanchez used to train.
Yeah. Dennis Shafikov, his first loss as a professional.
Yeah. After he lost, I knew that though. I thought Shafikov, because he's a physical, in-your-face pressure fighter, I thought he would give him a problem. And I remember talking to Abel Sanchez, who was training Shafikov before the fight. I said, man, I don't think this guy can handle your pressure, man. This guy's gonna fold, man.
Yep.
And Abel was listening to me, man. He was just, when they're quiet, they listen to me. I said, man, just turn that heat up on him. I don't think he can fight inside, Abel. He goes, well, that's something he'll have to learn. Well, I said, he ain't going to learn in this fight. That's something you got to teach somebody. Okay.
Yep. That's right.
And it takes time. And that was what he was missing from his arsenal. He was tall. He's tall, 5'10", rangy.
Yep.
Good athlete, tough kid, condition, but he was missing that from his game. Now, fast forward, his fight with Frampton. Frampton tried to take it to him. Herring picked him apart. Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
That's the best I've seen him look as a fighter. He made those improvements. He made those improvements he needed to make to evolve into an all-around fighter. Switching to Bomac and his with his coaches over there, training with Crawford. You know what I mean? Training at Colorado Springs in that high altitude. All these little things, Joe, make big changes in you as a fighter. Okay, all right. So I've seen that improvement in Stevenson. In Herring, his ability. He could fight a pressure fighter now, and just all around his confidence. He's got a championship level. He's a champion now, so he's got a champion's attitude. I've seen the improvement over the years. When he, who did he beat? That Puerto Rican? No, the Japanese guy he beat for the title. Yeah, you can see he got better, a little bit better. Every fight he's been getting a little bit better with Bomac and company. So.
Yep, he looked tremendous against Masayuki Ito. You're absolutely right.
That's what I like about just be the best you can be. That's all. Develop to your full God-given potential. He's got the athletic talent, but he just lacked the skill sets, and his mentality's got better. So yeah, I like that he's evolved into to be the best he can be. Now, will the best he can be good enough to beat Shakir? He's got a big roadblock ahead of him. You know what I mean? He's got to overcome and break through.
Well, unfortunately, what was the saying for the Marines? It's always been Semper Fi, but in the Army, it's to be the best you can be. Let's hope you can take a page out of the Army handbook this time. But I tell you what, we go to the comment board real quick, Coach. Platinum Fight says, is this an exciting fight in your mind? No, we said it was one of the bigger fights on the boxing calendar. It's intriguing. Not sure about excitement. Thoughts, anyone? We'll give you our thoughts, Coach Gogue. In my opinion, this style matchup is going to be entirely up to Jamel.
Yeah.
To make it exciting. And I want to hear your keys to victory, because if he just tries to fight him from mid to long range, guys, it's going to look just like, dare I say it, Austin Trout versus Erislandy Wallada several years ago. Two counterpunching southpaws that's going to be like watching grass grow. Right? So, W. Riles joins us. Thank you so much for joining us. Brother, he says, man, I hope Herring cooks Shakur. He talks too much cap while being boring as F in the ring. He put me to sleep in his last fight. And so we go to your keys to victory, Coach. And Minnie Mill asks you, how do you beat Shakur at this stage of his career? What are the keys to victory for Jamel Herring, sir?
Well, we talked about it a few weeks ago. I gave a brief breakdown. I said that he can't play chess with Shakur at distance, rank at distance, because he's going to get checkmated real quick. Okay? Shakur plays chess. Herring plays checkers at long range.
Mm-hmm.
different level. This fight is going to be, in order for him to win the fight, he's got to get the right distance, which is in the pocket or medium range. And you were telling me something that Herring had the same idea. You were reading something, or you talked to his coach, Red. Red said the same thing. Red said we can't fight him at distance. We got to get him in close and outwork him. And that's what he's got to do. He's got to outwork him. Get the right distance. Shakir is going to be moving. Don't let him control range and distance with his footwork. Keep stepping to him. I would, when you're pressuring a guy, intelligent pressure consists of good footwork, step into your opponent, a good jab, feints, and head movement, and blocking the punches, high guard defense, aka Ronald Winky Wright. Okay, just keep walking them down, cutting the ring off. And but the thing is, Joe, once you get the right distance, you just can't hesitate and look at Shakir. Okay, you got to get off. You can't be thinking what he's gonna do. You gotta get off. And what do? You put your combinations together, different combinations that are, you gotta, like I said, Joe, once you get in the right range to be effective, you got to put the right combinations together. Me personally, they're both southpaws. That right hook to the body, right hook to the head, up, down and up. Right hook to the body, right hook to the head. That should work good. That straight left hand, come back to the body, then come back to the head. The uppercut, right hook, straight left hand. They're both southpaws, so they're going to be, same angle, just like two right-handers fighting. Left uppercut, straight right, left uppercut, right hook, then straight left hand. That'll work. Man, I would have to be in the gym, man. What else would work on that left? On a southpaw, that body head with the hook to the body, hook to the head works. That left uppercut, that come back with a right hook, then come back with a straight left hand, usually works. Man, try to loop that left hand around, Shakir's guard, then come back to the body, then come back to up the middle with uppercuts. What I'm trying to say, Joe, you got to be a creative combination like Canelo. Put your combinations together, creatively, up and down, down and up. I haven't, like I said, I didn't watch fights of both guys, or I'm not in the gym with both guys. That's when I would know what combinations would work. If I watch tape with Shakir, hey, let's try this, let's try that. Then in the gym, if you got to have the sparring partners. Okay, let's try this combination. You know what I mean? You start. When you watch tape of the guy, Joe, you have a game plan on what you want to do. But it's not until you start sparring, shadow boxing, hitting the pads, especially sparring, then you start polishing up your game plan. Okay, this is what we got to do. We're going to add this to our game plan. Okay, this should work. The combinations. This combination works. This combination work. This should work. This should work. Okay, you start adding to your game plan. It's called polishing up your game plan, adding those levels, those inches to your game. But to me, southpaws just being experience. The body, head, the hooks always work. Then come back with a straight left hand after that, or down and up. Up and down. The left hook, the right hook to the body, come back to the right hook to the head. That's up. Then come back down to the body with the right hook to the body. Then come back with that left uppercut up the middle. He's not going to expect it, okay? That's what you got to hit Shakir with, combinations that he ain't going to expect. And that's why you got to be creative in your combinations. Whatever Bomac, Red are working on, put the combinations, work on the combinations that are going to be effective against a guy like Shakir. You basically got to outpunch him, man, once you get in range and distance. Don't let him tie you up. Shakir is going to smother you and try to tie you up. How do you keep a guy from tying you up? You keep your elbows tucked in. Okay? Hands up, nice and tight. When Shakir reaches out to grab you, the opponent's natural reaction is to reach out and grab him back. Well, when you reach out to grab him, he has something to grab and tie you up. So if he reaches out to grab you, just keep your hands in nice and tight. where there's nothing to grab. Then you go to work. The combinations: up, stairs, downstairs, up. The short hooks, short right hooks, short left hooks. Come back up the middle with left uppercuts. Come back with the body shots. Come back for the body to the head. Just be creative, okay? But don't let Shakir tie you up and everything, okay? Inside and just outwork him. He's gonna have to fight a determined fight like he fought against Frampton. But Shakir ain't gonna come to him. So you got to track him. You got to be the hunter. He's got to be the prey. And me, Joe, personally,
Yep.
when you're attacking the guy, once you get in range, pop that jab. Bust Shakir up with that jab. That's going to affect him big time. Because once you start touching Shakir with that jab, you know what I mean? I think he'll lose his composure and poise a little bit and everything. And, when you lose your composure and poise, you make mistakes and everything. But just be physical. But it starts with that. Yeah, I think that's what now thoughts are starting to get into my head, what I would do. Once you get in that close range, that medium range, pop a nice stiff jab in Shakir's face or a good jab to his body, okay? But that jab to the face, yeah, you keep popping it to his face, that's the number one way you break down a fighter, people out there listening, is with that jab. Just like Gennady Golovkin when he fought David Lemieux. Busted him up with that jab before he started opening up, getting more assertive. The first 3-4 rounds, he was just taking his time, breaking them down with that jab, busting him up. Then once he knew he was softened up enough, then he started pressing the action. But Herring, he's got to fight like a determined animal, man. The whole fight, and apply intelligent pressure and start and work that jab. Work that jab to get the range. But once he gets his range, just put his combinations together, whatever they're working on.
Indeed. And I tell you what, Coach, though, Jamel Herring has never shown signs that he can actually be the effective aggressor in the ring.
Well, he better.
Can he do it against Shakur Stevenson?
What's that?
Can he do it against a real chess master like Shakur Stevenson?
Oh, yeah. Shakir is just a master, boy, of controlling range, like I said, range and distance. With his jab, his footwork, okay? Just, to keep from getting hit, stepping out of range, busting you with the jab, sharp counters, okay? Them sharp counters, when he leads with combinations, he's quick-handed, okay? Then he's like I said, he has the ability to frustrate you, to make you hesitant, to get you off your game plan, okay? To screw you up here mentally, okay? Get you out of rhythm, okay? But he knows how to do it. Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, Coach, like I stated before, the odds makers, most sports books, and I'm reading the most eager one, and that's Unibet, right? They have Shakur Stevenson listed as a 7-1 betting favorite. Some I have on here have Shakur as high as a 12-1 betting favorite.
Jesus.
With Jamel Herring in most racing sports books being a 5-1 betting underdog. Do you agree with this, and why?
Man, that's a lot, man. Oh, 4 to 5 to 1. I'm not no betting expert. I mean, I'm not a guy that's an expert on putting what the odds are, but I know Shakir would be a favorite and everything. The reason why they make those odds is they want to make money and everything, and they have a better. They're more knowledgeable and they're bigger experts than me when on determining the odds of where there's going to make them money.
Yep. I'll tell you what, before we get your official prediction, Coach, let's go to my brother AJ. He says, Shakur's been really disrespectful during the buildup. You don't tell a Marine to his face you're going to beat his ass. If he's selling the fight, it worked, because now I want to see him get his ass beaten. Thank you for your comments, brother AJ. W. Ryle says, Harry needs to knock the copycat inferior Mayweather clone out of him. He also says, I suspect Shakur is hiding a glass gin. He seems scared to death in the ring.
You don't like getting hit?
Well, I tell you what, Coach, your final prediction before we get another question from Platinum Fights. How do you see this fight playing out, Coach?
Now, the way I just described it, Joe, if he
Yep.
fights his, he's going to, the way I just described it, Joe, Shakir's going to stay back, pot shot Herring, frustrate Herring, counter Herring effectively, control him with that jab at range, feints, that straight left hand. He's going to help, it's going to help him control range and distance, to the head, to the body, or around over the top. And Herring's going to just have to apply that pressure. That's the only way he's going to win, Joe. Apply that pressure intelligently. And when he gets in the range, put together the combinations that he needs to put together that are going to be effective in breaking through Shakir's defense. All right. Don't let him hold you and tie him up. You up.
Yeah, unfortunately, Coach, in order for Jamel Herring to win this fight, he's going to have to put up that high guard defense, roll forward, and let his heart spill out onto the canvas. Let his balls hang in the ring. He's going to have to put forth the performance of his career.
Yeah.
Because, and like Platinum Fights asks us, Coach, how hard is it to turn a boxer into a pressure fighter?
It takes a long time, man. A series of fights, changing. It's just changing his mindset, okay? All right. Once you change his mindset, your psychology, then everything comes together. He starts becoming, more aggressive, more assertive, and more physical. Yeah,
Coach,
some guys you just can't do it. They ain't got no balls, okay?
Yep. Coach, how long did it take Canelo to add that new wrinkle to his arsenal?
Which one? A presser?
Yep, being an intelligent pressure fighter. How long did it take him?
Well, after he lost to Mayweather, you can see he got better over time. You know what I mean? He added new wrinkles to his game. He knew how to cut the ring off better. He worked on his head and upper body movement, his high guard defense, his jab, his counter punching, and all that stuff, man. Yeah. It takes a series of fights.
My point for bringing that up, it took him years. And that's one of the most physically gifted fighters in the entire sport. Unfortunately, time isn't a luxury that Jamel Herring had going into this fight. In my opinion, it's going to be a tall order. Coach, if you're not willing to put forth a prediction, I'm going to give you one, in my opinion.
Oh, I'm going with Shakir Stevenson to outpoint him.
That's it. In my opinion, Shakur Stevenson wins a very wide and uneventful UD12. Jamel may start out trying to apply pressure, but when he starts getting tagged and he's not capable of cutting off that ring effectively, boy, he's going to become very tentative and he's going to decide to stay from mid to long range. In my opinion,
Joe, if you get hit, fuck it. Just keep coming. You got to have that pit bull mentality, that ferocity of Roberto Duran. You get hit, you just got to keep coming forward. But if you get hit, you make that adjustment, okay? Defensively, maybe move your head more, maybe block the punches better, maybe start feinting them more, maybe use your jab, but just keep applying that pressure. Keep walking down, but don't keep on getting hit. Make those defensive adjustments, but just be resilient and executing that's what I'm trying to say. Just got to be motherfucking resilient and executing your game plan, okay? And not get sidetracked because you got hit a couple of times with counters. Then that pressure will start getting to Stevenson. You'll start seeing when he gets close, he'll try to grab and hold you and tie you up and everything. You can start seeing him, and he'll start losing his composure. But Stevenson, since the amateur days, he's become more. He's getting more comfortable fighting close up in the pocket. He's become physically stronger. If you noticed him, his body's matured into a man now. He's got that man strength. So to me, there's a higher comfort level fighting up close than when he turned pro.
Indeed. And I tell you what, I really hope Jamel realizes that, boy, he's going to have to let his balls hang in the ring for this one if he wants to win this one.
He's got to be a resilient motherfucker in this ring.
Yep.
I work with guys. I work with guys who are resilient, who are mentally tough. All right, strong mental intestinal fortitude. That's what you got to do.
Yep, that's it. That's it, Coach. So guys, that's it. That's the wrap up, or as far as that's the big fight weekend preview between Jamil Herring and Shakur Stevenson. Well, let's hope that we're wrong and that it's a much, much more scintillating matchup than we all think it's going to be. Coach, very quickly, your thoughts on Edgar Berlanga last Saturday night? It was on the undercard from the T-Mobile Arena, and he struggled a bit. He won a unanimous 10-round decision against very tough Argentine Marcelo Coceres, but he got knocked down for the very first time in his career in round 9, and boy, he was seeing stars for a bit. Your thoughts on his gritty, unanimous 10-round decision effort?
Yeah, we talked about that last week, Joe. Tough makes you better. Going through tough fights like that, having to deal with adversity makes you a better fighter. Okay, he's getting the rounds in, Joe. He had 15, 16, 17 first round knockouts. What the fuck do you learn knocking a guy in the first round? You don't. You learn going the rounds, put the rounds under the belt in your resume. Okay, getting that experience you need, that tough experience you need to become a better fighter. You can't have fame without going through pain, baby. Not in boxing. And it's going to force him to, when he goes back to the gym, to work on all the things he needs to do to get better. Him and his coach, he has a very good coach, Andre Rozier. Okay, and that's what tough fights do. Okay, they force you to realize, okay, in order for me to get better, I got to work on this, and you only get that from being in tough fights. So it was a good experience for him, learning how to go to rounds, getting put on his ass, and getting up. You know, you're gonna get dropped. Boxing, that's the way boxing is. But it's what you do when you get up after getting knocked down. That's what I want to see. That's gonna tell me a lot about your character as a fighter.
Indeed. And after that fight, Edgar Berlanga, he suffered an injury, so that needed medical attention. So he's not going to be back until next year sometime. But guys, speaking of injury, all prayers go out to former WBO strawweight champion Moises Fuentes. He underwent emergency surgery in Cancun after a brutal knockout loss suffered on Saturday night against Daniel Cuellar.
I watched that fight. It was he got knocked out. Is he all right or what?
Well, no, he's in. They're not sure, but no, he's not doing well. Apparently, Eddie Reynoso just tweeted out something saying that all prayers go to Moises Fuentes.
I watched that fight.
Well.
He got knocked down. He didn't get up, man. I had a suspicion. I had a suspicion he was hurt real bad.
Yeah, so all prayers go out to former strawweight champion Moises Fuentes. We hope that he's okay, because that's a kid. That's a guy who always showed heart, resiliency, and let his balls hang in the ring. Unfortunately, Coach, this is his third consecutive knockout loss.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, boy, we promoters, managers,
goods.
Yeah, he was damaged goods going into that fight. Coach, Minnie Meal asks, Roberto was an inside fighting genius, but he had the balls to do it. Is that the key?
Roberto Duran.
Yep.
Oh, fuck yeah. It all starts with balls. You know, meanness, toughness. You can't be scared when you get in the pocket. A lot of guys don't like fighting in the pocket. It's uncomfortable to them. Because when you get there, you know what I mean? You're not at safe distance. Or you can move around the ring or move in and out of range, move in circles and not get hit. Or get hit less. But when you're right in the guy's punching range, right in the pocket, man, you better have some balls, man. If you ain't got no balls and you're scared to get hit, you'll never make it. You'll never develop the skill sets, the physical skill sets to be a great inside fighter. Because if you ain't got it up here, to have, to be mean and tough, okay, resilient in the pocket, courageous, having a set of balls is being, having the courage, the cojones, the toughness, the meanness, the physical mindset to handle that hard shit in the trenches, up close. Yeah. And Duran, oh man, yeah. That's why he was his technique over the years. If you watch Duran like I have, and when he was coming up, he was green and raw. But over the years, his technique evolved, polished up. Okay, got better. Has he moved up the ladder? Has he got more fights under his belt? Okay, yeah, but he needed to go through those developmental fights to develop all those all the God-given raw talent he had to be a great inside fighter. He needed fights to get that experience. But yeah. He was a genius, but he had balls first. It all comes with a set of balls. A lot of guys don't want to do that. You see it nowadays, man. Fighters that like to be sweet and cute. Once they get in the pocket, they don't like that rough stuff. They don't like to sit down and go tit for tat with you. It takes skills. It takes balls. Yeah,
that's right. Well, we have one more question, Coach, and it's from Mini Meal also. He says, Coach, what type of boxing style did Oscar De La Hoya have?
Fast, sharp, explosive puncher, combination puncher. Oscar had quick hands, explosive, and he was explosive. But everything, Oscar had good technical skills. He had good footwork, he had good balance, and he had a good jab. At one time, he had the best left hand in boxing when he was coming up. That left jab, the left hooks to the body, and the left uppercut.
He's a converted southpaw. Yep.
Yeah, he was converted southpaw. But Oscar, Oscar had a big set of balls too. Oh yeah, he had a big set of balls, and he was beautiful. Do a lot of combinations, fast, sharp combinations, head, body, head.
Yep.
Yeah. God-given talent.
But Oscar was, when you're looking in terms of style, though, Coach, he was an aggressive-minded counterpuncher. He always depended on his opponents letting his hands go first.
He led. He was an aggressive-minded fighter. I mean, he led with punches, with combinations. Okay, but if he got hit, he'll come back firing. You know what I mean?
Yep. And there you have it, Mini Meal. That's going to just about do it, guys. I want to thank you all for joining us.
True story, Coach, Joe.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
First time I seen De La Hoya fight, no lie. 15, 16-year-old kid in the Junior Olympics in Sacramento in 88 or 89. Yeah, he was a 5'9", 119 pounds. And people were telling me, hey, watch that guy. First time I seen him fight, he wiped the dude out, but you can see his prodigious talent. Right then and there, I got my attention on him. That was in Sacramento in 1988 or 89. He was only like 15, 16. First time I seen him fight, though, I was like, man, this guy, I think this guy could be something special. Then the following year, he won the National Golden Gloves as a 16-year-old fighter. Then he won the U.S. Championships 1990 and 91. And, of course, he went to the Olympic team. But I knew De La Hoya. Yeah, since he was, I know an Oscar, 91. So that's like 30 years. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, I know the family. I know the family real well. Brother Joel and the dad, Joel Sr. But Oscar, yeah, he was a special talent, boy. Man, I used to watch him. I've been in the gym with him a lot, especially in when I was training in Big Bear. But in the amateurs, too. I used to watch him, work the hand pads with his coach, Robert Alcazar, the fast, sharp, explosive combinations. I'm like, damn. Yeah, boy, damn.
Yeah, boy, that lightning fast left hook, but there was nothing else like it in boxing, man.
That De La Hoya that's why he's in the fucking Hall of Fame. But I know him, like I said, I've known him since, first time I seen him fight was 88, 89 when he was 15, 16, he was a prodigious talent, okay? Yeah.
Well, I take that back. We have one more question from Platinum Fights. He says, Coach, boxers take the most damage in the gym, that wear and tear. Is there something commission should be doing to protect fighters in the gym? Is there anything they can do?
Can't do shit.
It just shows up in the fights, doesn't it, Coach?
Nah, it's the coaches, man. Is who's the blame, not the commission. Every time you get the government involved with something, they fuck shit up. So, nah, man, it's the coaches. The coaches, all right? They got to know how many rounds. They got to know how to not overspar their fighters. And if their fighters are getting hit in the gym, correct their defensive mistakes. I do. If I see a fighter getting hit, man, I piss me off. I say, look, man, you're getting hit because of this, because of that, whatever. It's their footwork. They're not blocking punches correctly. They're not slipping punches. They're not parrying the punches. They're not moving their head or whatever, But yeah, you got to spar, Joe.
Yep.
Because sparring is gonna correct your mistakes. But if you don't correct your mistakes in the gym and your fighter keeps getting hit like I see all the time, well, the fighter's gonna take punishment. And you do that over time, over years. Oh God, yeah. You become damaged goods when you go into a fight.
Yep. Coach, what's the temperature like right now, brother? Because I am freezing right now. It's 55 degrees in San Antonio. How cold is it in Leon, Mexico right now, brother?
It's like that over here. It's kind of chilly. Yeah, I hate it.
Happy Halloween, brother.
I don't like the weather. Yeah.
All right, Coach. Well, that's going to just about do it. I want to thank you guys for joining us. If you missed any part of the show, you can check it out. And it'll be available as soon as we sign off. Coach, do you have any parting shots for our listeners, listening audience tonight?
No, just tune into the fight next week. It's going to be intriguing, It could be boring, too. So I'm not gonna be, what do you call it? Give it my total endorsement like I did the Navarrete Gonzalez fight, which I knew it was going to be a sizzler.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, the coach knows. And I tell you what, when it comes to Herring versus Stevenson, all we can do is, prepare for the worst and hope for the best.
Yeah. Great attitude, Joe. That's the attitude.
It's all you can do, guys. And once again, they have us. We're all lifers in this business.
Yeah.
They've got us where it hurts. But, guys, that's going to just about do it. I want to thank you all for joining us. On behalf of Coach James Gogue, I'm Joseph Herron. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. And happy Sunday, everyone. You guys have a great week.
Making your way in the world today takes everything you've got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to get away? Sometimes you wanna go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You wanna be where you can see our troubles are all the same. You wanna be where everybody knows your name. You wanna go where people know people are all the same. You wanna go where everybody knows your